Okay, so we're recording now. I'm just going to give about a minute for people to come into this webinar. It's actually quite a cold day here in Melbourne at the moment. Even though I'm wearing short sleeves, it is actually quite cold. Hope you're having a lovely day today. It's great to see we've got about 100 registrations for this webinar. So it's great to see that from our customers. Okay, let's get started. So I'm Natalia, the marketing manager here at Wisenet, and I'd like to welcome you to Wisenet Finance, a daily drive. In this session, we'll be following on from our previous webinar, which we held a fortnight ago, where we talked about a strategic overview of Wisenet Finance. I'm joined here by Andrew, who I'll introduce shortly. So here's how you can get the most out of this webinar. So firstly, we do have a Q&A and you can put in your questions about any of the content that we've covered at any time during this webinar. There'll also be polls that we'll be running, and it would be great if you could participate in those, and I'll be sharing the results as well. If you have any specific questions that relate to your particular Wisenet instance, please do reach out to us through support. We will also have a survey at the end of the webinar. This is how we collect information about what kinds of webinars our customers want, and also to see if this is a webinar that you found useful. So definitely fill that in because we'd love to hear from you as well. So I'd love to introduce Andrew to you. Andrew is our product manager and he heads up the product management function here at Wisenet, which is primarily based in Melbourne. Andrew has over 15 years of experience in the software industry, and Andrew was instrumental in creating Wisenet Finance and how it's been set up here. So he knows the ins and outs of Wisenet Finance. Outside of Wisenet, Andrew is a very sporty. He does swimming, cycling, and I think I mentioned in a previous webinar, he is a physiotherapist as well. So we're going to start with an icebreaker today, and we're going to be asking you, what is your role in your organization? I know this is quite a broad question, but we just thought we'll start with something just to get you thinking, because there'll be different ways that you'll be using Wisenet Finance. So let me just launch that poll. Okay, we're seeing some results come in. I will release those in just a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to release that to everyone. It looks like we're having a few responses coming in. So I might just keep it open just a bit longer. And I'm just going to end that poll now. And let's share the results. So it looks like we have quite a few people who do administration, management, and finance, and there's a couple of owners as well in the room. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Andrew, who's going to give you a daily drive of Wisenet Finance.
Thanks, Nat. I wanted to start today off by just recapping the previous webinar that we went through. and just going back through those three real impact points for Wisenet Finance. So the first point that we've designed Wisenet Finance to do is to save your time. We do this across multiple different functionalities within Wisenet Finance. There's the automated invoicing, there's the fee schedules that apply the fees to the accounts, but there's also the indirect times as well that we save. So the giving your course administrators the ability to see course fees and generate those invoices without needing to go back through finance and double check before issuing credentials. The ability for learners to see in the Learner app their current financial standing with your organization and to even pay outstanding invoices via the Learner app. We have also made it easier for you to receive your money quicker by integrating with Stripe and other payment gateways. You can have an online payment collected and the money be in your account within 24 hours. The third point is we've designed it in a way to give you access to the critical data so that you can make better business decisions quicker. Wisenet Finance is that piece of the puzzle that fits, that connects and augments your current accounting system for your accounts receivable for learning. And it connects Stripe with the accounting system, with Sales Plus, and also other manual enrollment methods in Wisenet. So today, we're going to go over how to set up Wisenet Finance, how to generate invoices, capture payments, apply credit notes, process refunds, and then also report back to the accounting system. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration today of an overall flow, and then we'll break it down into micro scenarios so that you can learn how to do each part of that flow. So over here, I've got a Sales Plus site already set up, and I'm just going to enroll into the Diploma of Early Childhood Education and Care. So I will do this reasonably quickly. Here's my email address so I can receive the invoice. And we'll just accept the terms, sign that form, and submit it. See now that we have submitted through there, which is good. And I'm just waiting for the invoice to be sent through to me so that I can pay that invoice on the screen for us. I think it's about to arrive now. Just come over to this screen here so I can bring it up and show everyone the invoice. With any live demonstration, sometimes we have a little bit of a delay.
That's a great background you have, Andrew, on your desktop.
Thank you. And we can see here the invoices come through to me. Yeah. So now I can pay that invoice as a learner. Just using our demo card details. So don't worry, you're not going to be able to use my card. And we can see the payment was successful here. If I refresh the page again, second, it should come through as being paid. Sometimes it does take a few seconds to come through. Wait, give it a few more seconds to come through. Change my side, so I might just need to. There we go. Paid. Come through. Trying to skip through with some of the speed, and I will just bring up a payment confirmation email there. You can see there. Thank you, Rob Smith, for paying. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come back over here, and I want to show you what that looks like in Wisenet. So I'm in the course offer here. I can click on the finance tab here, and we can see Rob's amount here. So total funding required for Rob for this course was $180, amount invoiced and amount paid with $0 outstanding. So we can also have a look at that from Rob's financial standpoint. So if we go to his finance page, and we've got that tuition fee here, and we can look again at that invoice and see that the invoice is ready email is there. And we can also go through to the payment email over here to show that payment receipt email that I just showed before. So that's the overall flow. What we'll jump back into now is the scenarios. So I wanted to kind of tell a story with our scenarios today so that you can see throughout the process how you'd go from one step to the next step to the next step. So to start off with, our first scenario is you've launched a new course offer for a diploma in business and need to set up fees. Enroll your first learner and invoice the learner. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump back into my demo environment over here. I'm just going to drag my screen up here for us to work off now. So the first thing I need to do is I actually need to go to finance and then the settings. We've got to do some base level setups so that we can start using this. So the first thing is we go to invoice settings, and in here the main thing that we're looking at is the terms. Now I'm going to start typing in some terms here, and it might be ways to pay. Number one, online payments with credit card, and number two might be bank transfer with BSB and account number. So what will happen here is any invoice that we generate will have these terms set on them. If we were to update the terms again, only new invoices generated would have those updated terms. So it saves the terms at the time of invoice generation. The next thing that we need to do is we need to go to set up some course fee types. So a fee type is how the system reports back to your accounting system the correct general ledger accounts. So for this example before, I need to set up a course fees account, which will have GST on it. And I will enter in some account code and account description. Now, the contra account code and contra account description are the accounts that will be reflected on a credit note in the system. So if we were to credit this fee type, they're the accounts that it would record back to in the general ledger reporting. So for that, I'm just going to put an X in front of it. Sorry. And then we just go save down the bottom here. Next off, I need to go to finance items to set up the course fee itself. So we'll add a finance item in here. And it's for that diploma of business again. So the name is an internal name. So just something quick for your team to know what you're picking. So I'll just go on dip biz course fees. The code appears on the invoice, and so does the line item description. So I've got a nice version of the line item description down here. I'm just going to paste in. As that allows the learner to know exactly what they're paying. And I'll just set it to $300 and we'll save it there. So you can see that new finance item has been created there. The next bit of setup that we're going to do before we jump into the course offer itself, is we're just going to go to the templates here, and we're just going to update the email that gets sent when an invoice is issued. I want to add in a line there about if we require assistance to please contact an email address. So I've got that saved down here, and I can just paste that straight into there and go update. So now that means that whenever an invoice is issued, they'll have that additional bit of information. Next up, we'll go to the courses. And this next bit that we're going to be setting up are the fee schedules. So we'll go to the deployment of business, and we'll go down to fee schedules. A fee schedule is a way for you to add fees to a learner's account, either automatically or manually. And I will show both processes today. But for this first one, we're just going to set it up as course fees. Again, it's just an internal name for you to be able to understand what you're applying. We've got this set invoice by date and set invoice due date here as well for us. This is used for our automated invoicing solution. So if you are going to be manually generating invoices, this is not required, but it still also provides your admin staff knowledge of if they need to invoice this on a certain date. So I will set this one up for us today with it getting issued 1 day before the course offer start date. And I can also set a due date. So I will do that off when the invoice by date was set. And so we'll set that as 2 weeks. So they've got 2 weeks to pay that. Next, we just have to select that course fee. So the Dip Biz course fee, and it comes through like that. And we can save that there. So that's now our fee schedule set up at a course level. Now what we can do is we can go to our offers and actually set this up as a default. So we'll go to offers. And here's the deployment of business course that we're setting up for this intake. And what we do here is we go to details. In details, we go over to finance and go edit. We're going to select the course fee schedule that we just set up before, and we'll just select the base pricing. I will go through pricing a bit more later. And we save. So now that's all of our setup done for this course offer. Any new enrollment that comes in will automatically have these course fees attached to the account. And if we have auto invoicing on, it will automatically generate that invoice. So we'll go ahead now and we'll just do a enrollment into this course offer. So we'll come down to enrollments, add course enrollment, and I'll look for my learner, Ben, and I'll enroll the learner. Going to skip over the rest there and just go save and finish. So Ben's now enrolled into this course. If we go have a look at Ben's account, so under there and then back up to selected learners finances, we can see that fee item has been attached there. It does have an invoice by date of the 31st of March, but today I'm just going to invoice this directly right now. There's a few ways to invoice from this page. We can use the individual button here, which is generate invoice. You can also select an account item and come up here to generate invoice. And if we had multiple account items, we can just select generate invoice and it will pull up all of the available account items here to generate that invoice. But I'm just going to go through this pathway here and click this button today. And you can see it automatically pre-populates everything. You do have the ability to put a custom reference in, but as a user, I can't adjust any of the pricing. And then I can generate that invoice. What we've done there is we've got this invoice now that's been sent out to Ben. And we can capture payment of that if we're going to capture it internally now. Now, I did show you earlier the online payment solution with Stripe. For the rest of the demonstration, I'm just going to do manual payments just to show you it, show you how you can collect different types of payments. So the first one might be Ben's come into the office and we're collecting it in cash. So you could write cashier Andrew C, and add payment. You get a confirmation box that you need to confirm, and then we've got that payment. You can see that the amount due has gone down to 0 and that the payment is there as well. So if we jump back to our scenario here, just to review the process of what we did. We set up our invoice settings. We then set up the fee types and the finance items and the pricing for that item. We updated the email template. We then went across to the course and set up fee schedules, and then back to the offer itself and set that fee schedule as a default. We applied the fee schedule on enrollment. We went to the learner's account, reviewed it, and then issued the invoice from the prescribed items on that. The next scenario I want to go through is Ben lost his student card and the course materials, and has requested both to be reprinted. So what we need to do here is we need to set up and apply fees, issue the invoice, and also Ben's going to give us a payment over the phone. So I'll come back over to here, to our account page over here, and we'll go to settings again. So fee type wise, I've already got my miscellaneous fees set up here, so I don't need to set up another fee type, but I do need to set up a finance item for that course materials. So again, this top one is just for us internally, and we can just put in some other things here. And again, I've got a nice clean line description to put in here, and we'll choose the miscellaneous fees, and we'll put that down as a $25 reprint fee and save. So that's now created here. We've also already got the student card reprint, which I'll show you the use of afterwards, because Ben's lost both his student card and his materials. So the next bit we're going to do is we're going to go to the offers page again, and we're going to that diploma of business offer. We'll go down to enrollments here, and we'll select Ben. Sorry, I skipped a step. We'll actually go to the course, and we need to set up a fee schedule. So the fee schedule I want to set up here is course materials. And I will put that in there, and I want this one to be straight away. So before 0 days. And I also want it to be paid straight away as well. So we'll go after 0 days. And we'll save. So now we've got the course materials one there as well for us. We can go back to the course offer now. So I'll go back to here. I'll close this other tab up here. And what we can do is we can go to the enrollments. We can click on Ben, and we can go apply fee schedules. Now, this page sometimes takes a few seconds to load up. There we go. We can see that both of our fee schedules are available for us here, course fees and course materials. I'm just going to select the course materials for today and go apply fee schedules. If we go back to Ben's account now, we can see that those material print fees are there. But as I said again, Ben's also lost his student card. So what we're going to do here is we're going to show you how to manually add an account item that wasn't through a fee schedule. So we go add account item. We find the student card reprint. Again, you can see as a user, I'm not able to update the price, but I am able to add the item on here. Invoice by date, I'm just going to set both to today because we're wanting to collect this money straight away. And we can see there that the student cards come through here. You can also see that the student card isn't linked to an enrollment, whereas the other fees are linked to an enrollment. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to generate both of these invoices separately because to show you some different steps down the line. So I'll generate the first one and I'll go through this pathway up here to generate the second one. So we've now got 3 invoices for Ben. What we're going to do is we're going to jump into the material fees because he wants to pay them over the phone via a credit card. So again, we'll go capture payment, select payment method of credit card, and we might say terminal 1 was used, and maybe cashier again, Andrew said. You don't need to put a note in here. The notes are just for if you want to have an internal process for keeping track of the payments. So again, I've got to confirm, and it is still tagged with my user ID for the audit logs through there as well. So we've collected that payment now. Let's jump back to here to just recap everything we did. We went back and we checked that the fee type was set up, and we set up the finance item and the pricing. We then went and set up the fee schedules. We applied that fee schedule on the enrollment via the manual pathway. We then reviewed the learner account and added that student ID card account to it. And then we issued the invoices and collected that credit card payment over the phone. Oh, on his way to collect the reprints, Ben found his thins in the car and no longer needs them. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to credit the invoice and then refund the payment. So I'll jump back over to here. So if you remember, we had 2 separate invoices. We've got one invoice where we've already paid and one invoice that's still outstanding. So if we come up to invoices up the top here, we can see those 2 invoices here. So the first invoice that we're going to action is this one that we haven't paid at all. Really simple to close out this one. We can come up here and we can go generate credit note. And you can see here, it's automatically filled it in with the items that are on the invoice. And if I just go add credit note, we'll see that this has been paid for by this credit note here. And we click on the credit note and have a look at it through there. I'm going to go back to invoices now. And we'll go to that one that has been paid with the credit card details. So we'll come up here and again, we're going to generate a credit note. This time you'll notice this bottom right-hand corner has changed. It's noticed that we've got more credit in this credit note than is required to close out this invoice. So it's asking us what we want to do with that extra credit. We could either store it against Ben's account to be used on another invoice, or we can refund the payment. For today's scenario, we're going to show that refund of payment. So you select refund of payment, you'll see the payments that are linked to this invoice come up. You select the payment you want to refund, and then you go add credit note. So what that does in the background is it adds that credit note. It also adds the refund for the payment. So we'll go have a look at the credit notes now. Over here, credit note 02 that we just did there. We can see that it was that it's been fully applied, and it was fully applied through a refund. So we can click on the refund as well, and we can see the refund there, linked to the payment and the credit note up here as well if we want to go through to them. We can also see that Ben received a notification that the refund has occurred. Now, with refunds in Wisenet, if you collect the payment through the payment gateway, there is the option to automatically refund through that payment gateway, through Stripe, with the system, just by creating a refund in the system. If you've collected the money outside of Wisenet, of course, once you've completed this refund in the system, you will also need to complete the actual transfer of funds outside the system as well, whether that's a reversal on the terminal or it's cash back in hand to the learner, however your business processes that side of things. So just wanted to review that process again. We generated the credit notes, 2 different ones. we applied credit to one of the invoices, so it would close that one out, and then we applied a refund to the paid invoice to allow for that payment to be refunded through that. Oh, Ben's decided that the diploma of business isn't the right fit for him. What we're going to have to do here is credit the initial invoice for the course fees, but we're also going to charge a cancellation fee. Then we're going to refund the original payment, the amount missing from the amount left after the cancellation fee. So we'll come back over here again. This time we're going to go to Ben's account over here, and we'll go to the finances. We can come up to the invoices up here, and we know it's this first invoice here. So we can click on that. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to generate a credit note again. But this time we're going to store it against the debtor account. And we add the credit note. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to go to invoices, generate an invoice, and we're going to pick Ben. And we'll issue the invoice for today, payable today, and it's the cancellation fee. So that was one of the other fees I'd already set up for $150. So we're going to issue that invoice. What we'll do first now is we'll go to Ben's invoice here. And so this is the cancellation fee one. We're going to select apply credit note. So that credit note we just created before off the original invoice, you can see is sitting there with a remaining credit of $330. If we apply that credit note to here, we can see now that this cancellation invoice is completely closed off. If we jump to the credit note, we can see that there's $165 still remaining of credit on that credit note. So from here, we're going to go back to the payments page, and we're going to find that initial payment of Ben's, which is this one here. We can click on this here, and we can go action, and we can go refund payment here. You can see here that that credit note that we had still $165 remaining of is coming up. And we can click apply, and yes. So what this will do here, this will complete that, if we go to the refund over here, that partial refund for you in for your data. So you will then need to give the $165 back to Ben, but you've kept your cancellation fee there as well. So if we just recap that one there, we didn't set up the fee types, but we had the fee types for the cancellation fee already set up and the finance item and the pricing. We generated the credit note off the original invoice. We issued an invoice for the cancellation fee. We applied the credit to that new invoice, and then we refunded the payment, the remaining amount. After this long day, your finance teams come to you and is asking for all the transactions from today to add into the accounting system. For this, we're going to have to generate the journal report. So we'll come back over into the system and we'll go to settings. In settings, we're going to go over to the reporting section over here. Now, there's 4 accounts at the moment in Wisenet that we don't link back through fee types. These are only to show on the general journal reporting. We do recommend that you do set up Wisenet specific accounts for these 4 in your accounting system so that it does give you the granularity of your data when you use the journal report in. So I'm just going to set some up really quickly here. I'm just going to steal that. Bank clearance. We'll just call this BC, WBC. Processing fee, WPF, and WWO. and debtor write-off account. So there we have them all set up. Knowledge-wise, the processing fees that are recorded from the payment gateways, so they will automatically come through as a separate fee type. And the debtor write-off is if you use the debtor write-off solution. So we'll save that there. The only thing we need to do now is actually go to the journal reporting tab, change it to today as your filter. You can see all of those transactions there for today. Now, last time we spoke at the webinar, everyone said that, well, most people said that their main accounting system was zero. So what I'm going to do is I will do this export as a zero export. So we'll select zero and we'll go export. So I forgot to turn something on. Give me 2 seconds. We'll go back over to here. LRM settings. We do need our data export turned on for me to use this function. So I'll save that. It's now turned on. We'll come back to finance. Journal reporting. We'll change it back to today. Apply filter. Actions. Export. Zero. Export. And it hasn't saved. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I just need to sign back in for that to take effect. The fun with live demos. Refresh my page. Fingers crossed it works for me this time. There we go. So now it's going to complete the export. And it comes over here. And you can see there that it's ready for my download. So I'm going to download this, save it. And what I'll do is I'll open that file up and bring it onto the screen for us. And this is the export template for Xero Australia. Now we have different templates for different accounting systems. You would have noticed MyOb that was there as an option before. But this journal report will allow you to just drag and drop into Xero or MyOb or your accounting system and just click the confirm button, and then all of these transactions get logged against your general journal. Perfect. So if we come back, just to review that process there, we set up the journal reporting settings. We then had to go and switch on the data export switchboard and log back out, log back in, generate the journal report, and then download that report ready for your import into your accounting system. The next scenario I want to go through is your diploma of business has been approved for funding. So what we'll do here is we'll have to create a funding method. We'll record the funding and then allocate the funding to the correct account items. So over in here, we'll go back to finance and we'll go to settings. Next thing we're going to come across to is the finance funding methods. So we'll come up here and we'll add a funding method of government funding, and say yes and save. You can add a very specific one here for it to be easier for you to find. Next, we're going to go ahead and enroll a new learner into the course offer so that they have the course fees attached to them. So I'll just add Josh in, enroll here. and he's enrolled in. So what we can see here with Josh is if we go to his account page, finance, we can see the diploma of business course fee there for Josh. Next, what I want to do is to apply the fee, apply the funding. So if we go to finance, we can go to funding records down here, and we can add a record of funding. So we've received now that money for Josh. So I'll have to search for Josh and go select. The funding method was government funding. We might have received a reference number with it. The date we received was today, and we received $330. Add funding record. So now that we've got that funding record, we can actually allocate it against the learning. So we click this button here, and we can see for Josh here that we've got this outstanding amount of $300. And then we can allocate that fund. And it's not going to work for me. And give it 2 seconds. We will allocate funding here. There we go. System slowing down itself. So we can see that that funding has been allocated to Josh. Just to review that process, we set up the funding method. We enrolled the learner and applied the fee schedule automatically. We then recorded the funding received and allocated the funding for the approved fees. The next scenario I want to go through is the management team have asked for information on the debtors. So what we're going to do here is we're going to generate a debtor statement, and we're also going to generate an aged receivable report in the system. So for this here, we can go to the debtors tab, and we know a lot has happened on Ben's account, so we might do his account first for the statement. So we click on Ben, then we come over here to statement. We do have the ability to select only debit or only credit transactions, and we do also have the ability to select a date range there. From here, we can go action and export, and we can select the data statement. Similar to the journal report before, it generates that file for us, and we can save it. The other report that we had to generate was the age receivable reporting. So if we go to finance age receivable, we can see there's some outstanding balances here for us. We've got the ability to look at it as a summary, or we can have a look at it as detail as well, where it will break down into the individual document numbers. So if we quickly go to Frank, we can come back up to Frank. We might just issue him another invoice just to show the details come through. Say it's due next week, and I'll just pick the course fees. And we'll come back down to the age receivable down here. And when we go to detail, apply, we can see there's now 2 lines for Frank. For exporting of this, we've actually got a few different options. We can export in the detailed view, which you see above, or the summary view. And we can also export as either raw or formatted. The formatted and raw is just how the data appears for example, if there's a negative value at all, it will appear in brackets rather than just a minus sign. And again, you can download that. And if I just quickly bring that one up and out, yeah, we can see that I've got that there with the details, and that they've got the $27.50 outstanding, or 330s outstanding through there. Because nothing is overdue, it's not appearing in the other columns there. So what we did there was we accessed the debtor account, we configured the debtor statement, we exported the debtor statement, then we configured the age receivable report, and we exported the age receivable report. Just to recap everything we've gone through today, we've shown off that the fee schedules and how they are the most efficient pathway to invoicing, whether it is using the auto invoicing flow that you saw right at the start, or even those semi-manual pathways where you're coming in and you're manually generating that invoice. It allows your users and power users to complete these actions, but not have the ability to change values on them, and keeps that control with your owners and finance team. We want to encourage interaction with finance data, whether it's the course administrators checking the finances tab of the course offer before sending out credentials, or even the learners checking their financial standing in the learner app. And also using the reporting and the data to drive action in your business. So through there, you saw the bits in the first scenario where we could see the enrollments were linked to the account items for some of them, and then there was the unlinked student ID reprint card. Using that data there, you can figure out better which courses are most profitable for you. If there's a certain subsection of learners that you want to target your marketing towards because you find that they're quicker at paying you your fees as well. Or if there's a certain section of learners that you're wanting to be wary of doing business with. I hope that you got a lot from today, and I can complete the key tasks that are needed inside of Wisenet Finance. If we have a look at what that means for you if you incorporate Wisenet Finance into it, when we talk about finance tasks, we can break them down into frequent or occasional, and we can also break it down into manual or automated tasks. This matrix here shows you what it becomes with Wisenet Finance. So yes, you do have to manually set up finance items and fee types, but they're not things that you're going to be doing every day. You will have to adjust price, issue credit notes manually, and complete that journal reporting manually, which is really only a two-step process. The more frequent ones may be the recording of those manual payments. If you are collecting a lot of in-person funding, plus also the recording of the government funding. But there's also a lot of frequent things that you don't need to do anymore. The collecting of online payments, applying of the fee schedules, and issuing of the invoices. But also, and I didn't even show this one today, the overdue reminder emails getting sent out to the learners. Just another thing that you shouldn't have to do too often, but are now automated with Wisenet Finance. I'll pass back to Nat.
Thank you, Andrew. So we've just got another poll that we'd like you to answer. And please do answer honestly as well, because we'd love to have your feedback. So let me just launch that poll. So we're asking the question, how confident do you feel to start using Wisenet Finance today? So 0 is not at all, 10 is let's go. So just let some of those populate through. Okay, so I'm just going to end the poll there. We've got some, I guess, mixed results going on. But it's good to see that, because we had a range of people in this webinar, so we expected to see some mixed results as well. We'll be posting this webinar on YouTube, so you will be able to watch it at other dates. So if there are things that you wanted to refer back to, there will be that option. But if you want to look at it specifically for your organization, you can always book a one-on-one with us, and that's available through support. There's also some Learn resources that are available. And as I mentioned, that YouTube video will be sent to you through a link, and you can also access it from our YouTube channel. So now we're just going to have a look at the Q&A and take some questions. So we've got a question from Zoe. So Zoe's asking, can you set up the fee schedules per unit offer rather than course offer?
Yeah, Zoe, good news is you can do that. It's the exact same setup that you would use for the course and course offer. You set up the fee schedule on the unit, and then you go to the unit offer. I could quickly show you those pages. Might even be good. So if we go into a unit here, you can see fee schedules down here. So you can set up the fee schedule here for the units and then use them again on the unit offer. I'll just go through the next one as well. So Jody's asked, per WA state funding fees charges policy, RTOs are required to provide the student with detailed statements of fees. Will there be an invoice template available to use by RTOs requiring a more detailed invoice to send to students? So today's example, I just used that single course fee, but the fee schedules are set up in a way that you could have multiple line items on there. So you would do that breakdown of all the individual fees on the fee schedule, and then the invoice would have all those individual breakdown of items as well. And that online invoice has the ability to PDF it as well if the student is wanting to. Can we also set up in the unit level so the invoices, it will show per line item for the unit enrollments? Yes, sorry, Janet, we just showed that there for Zoe as well. So yeah, that's good that one's all good. Are all the automatic emails automatic? Can they turn off? At the moment in time, yes, all the emails are an automated solution. We can't turn them off at this moment in time. Can we set up to generate report for student payment and agent commission in one sheet? From Visual. We don't currently support agent commissions in Wisenet Finance, but the student payment reports, I showed you a few of them today there. But again, if there's something specific to your requirements, the support team can help you there to find a solution specific for your needs there, for sure.
Okay, so that is all of the questions that we have. Oh, one's just come in, Andrew. Is it possible to set up payment plans so that each invoice receives fortnightly or weekly part payments?
So for each payment, you can do that with fee schedules. So what you could do is you can have multiple fee schedules as the default for a course offer, or even do the manual pathway. And what you do is it's an invoice per payment you're expecting. So when we had those date ranges in before around the course start date, you could have a separate invoice get sent out for each individual one there. Because that invoice becomes the tax invoice for the learner as well, once it's been paid.
Oh, there's another question that's come from Kevin. Can we pull the selected enrollment checklist in invoice as the fields are most likely to reflect in invoice?
Checklists and invoices aren't connected, Kevin. The ability to set up the fee schedules is a manual one at the moment. The information on fee schedules and invoices, we are looking for you to have the ability to add that to uh, your U reports if you're wanting to create a template in there for, say, these are the expected fees for learners if you want to send out a letter of offer from that sense.
Thank you for that. So there's no more questions. So let's move back into the slide deck. So we'd like to thank you for attending today. We hope that you found this session useful. As discussed, if you do have any questions, you can reach out to us through support. We'd love to help you to set up your Wisenet Finance. So definitely reach out to us. This webinar will be posted onto YouTube and I'll be sending you an email with that link. Thank you so much for your time and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. There's a survey to complete just that will pop up on your screen just after this. Definitely fill that out, especially if you're feeling a little bit stuck with Wisenet Finance, because we'd love to hear from you and we can reach out to you directly. Thank you.